Welcome back to the Rotary build. We got a lot done in the last episode. What are we doing today, Jason?
Alright, so today we're going to finish the rest of the frame, mount the axle, the tires, all the steering, basically just get a rolling chassis.
Let's get started.
Back bars ready for the Go Power Sport seat, mocked up in place. And then we got these original mounting tabs. They're just gonna go right here and there. So we're gonna get them welded up and measured.
Cleaned up the frame and finalized our seat mounts for the front. I bent this up and it's basically the exact same dimensions as the other side. So we're gonna measure it to make it equal, notch this, cut this one here and put in a 90 bar, and then we will have a symmetrical frame again.
We got the seat all mocked up, and I mean, I'm the tallest out of all of us, and we got plenty of leg room, arm room too. We won't be burning ourselves in the engine. I mean, everything will fit really nicely. So next step is we're gonna get the Rotary mounted up. Then we'll be off to Go Power Sports to get tires and axle and all that type of stuff.
So we lengthened the steering wheel about 4 inches, and then we flipped this little block around so it sits a little lower. And we got our plug. Oh geez, okay, well it fits in here. And we'll just weld all this up.
We just got back from Go Power Sports with the steering all done and everything on the Rotary cart. So if you can see that pile over there, we got a bunch of stuff. We got 6.5 inch tires for the front and 8.5 for the rear. We got a huge 1 inch axle shaft. We're gonna run 4 bearings on it. That way we don't have any twisting or anything like that. We got an awesome brake rotor. We got some fuel lines, some 50 chains, some sprockets. So that's basically everything we need to get this thing a roller. And then other than finishing touches stuff, she's gonna be pretty close to driving by the end of this episode.
We got some 6.5 inch Go Power Sports rims, which we then put 6 inch tires for a little bit of stretch. And we just mocked it up and full lock. I mean, we got a little bit of space right there. So our tires are perfect, and
Oh yeah, baby.
Go Power Sports hubs on, and then we use the original spacers. So we got it spaced out a good bit, and time for the rims.
Dang guys, it looks so huge on camera. Absolutely massive.
So sadly we couldn't reuse the anodized aluminum ones, but Go Power Sports hooked us up with some really nice ones, which look pretty good.
Yeah.
And something I was worried about is that the frame's still kind of, you know, like the frames flex on racing karts for better handling. So this frame, despite the lengthening, does still flex. So everything seems to be good.
We got our massive 54 inch axle here, and now it's time to start mocking up where the rear axle is going to be. An issue we're going to have with this is the chain. There's no way to move the engine forward or backwards, and once we weld the hangers in, there's not going to be a way to move the axle forward or backwards. So we basically have one shot at this to get the chain tight and be able to like run different chains in the future if we ever break one or something like that. So the plan of attack is we're gonna cut all of this out except for this front plate right here. That way we have something to square up these against so we can get it basically perfect dimensions with the front. So I guess we'll do that, grind it down, get the 2 on first, and then we can start making our support brackets to do the other ones. And then we'll have a sprocket on this side, and then we'll do the other bearing on the other side and put the brake in between.
So we welded our sprocket to the hub. They didn't have a hub that fit the sprocket size. It's kind of a weird size. So we kind of shaved in the inside a little bit to fit really snugly and welded it both sides. So I think the metal should break before this thing does.
This looks so freaking sick. I think we picked the perfect offset for tires and stuff. Right now the rims are a little bit more out just because we centered it on both sides of the axle. But now what we need to do is we need to determine how far back our axle needs to go with the chain. Okay, so now we're gonna get the chain on and cut it to length, what we think is gonna work all right. Yeah, it actually needs to go in a little bit. Okay, so that about wraps up our axle here, at least for getting it laid out and centered up. I think what we'll do is I'll put like one more tack on each hanger. We'll put the wheels on it and then we can set it down and take like a good look at it. And if that all looks good, we'll put it back up here and then we can start working on our second set of bearing hangers.
She is mean.
Turn this way. We totally take that wheel off the ground though. Like, so turning this way we don't. Turning this way we're like pretty much off the ground. Woo! She's beefy. We're doing our second set of axle bearing hangers. So the idea is we're just gonna have a bar like just like this and then brace it here. So we'll just cut this one right to length here. And we'll be good. So far this is looking really good. We have bearing support right on either side of the sprocket, and then what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to get the tire right up against, basically like it's really close to the bearing. That way we have support right next to where the traction is going to be. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to mirror this as exactly as possible, but instead of the sprocket in the middle, we're going to have a brake.
So we just cut this bar. It's an inch longer than this one to be symmetrical with that side. And this will lock in our brake. And so we just got to clean it up and weld it. And we'll have another crossbar and that'll be it.
So we got this other bar in and we boxed it in. We can't have a bar back here because of how big the rotor is. But it's time to finally weld on our fourth bearing, and then we're going to be able to disassemble this whole axle, weld up our bearings, reassemble the axle, and get this thing on the ground for hopefully the last time.
Alright guys, this thing is shaping up to be a sweet kart. Thank you Go Power Sports for all the parts, the tires, the rims, everything we've been using has been from Go Power Sports. We're getting pretty close to 100K, so we'd really appreciate it if you like this video and give us a sub. And we got shirts too, we got some merch. So if you want to check that out, there'll be a link in the description. This is actually our rotor and the logo that was on the original motorcycle. And then check out our Instagram at build.breakrepeat. Let's try and grow that one a little bit, and we'll catch you next time.